You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button.
So Greg Sankey opened up SEC Football Media Days. A short time after that, it was Brian Kelly and the LSU Tigers taking their turn. And BK has been fantastic with his accessibility. And before Brian Kelly met with or went through the main room in his whole day at SEC Football Media Days, there was a breakout session just with select reporters from Baton Rouge who got to sit and visit with him. I did have a chance to visit one-on-one. But before my one-on-one, he kind of had a scrum with 15 or so reporters. And one of the questions that was so interesting was why Brian Kelly has been able to be so successful in year 3. Remember, year 3 at Notre Dame was when they went undefeated and played in the national championship against Alabama. Year 3 at Cincinnati, he had a fantastic year 3 with the Bearcats where they where they went 11-3 and played in the Orange Bowl. He, in his third year at Central Michigan, was when they went 9-4, made their first bowl game. It was his fourth year at Cincinnati that they had the undefeated season, played in the Sugar Bowl. But year 3 is when you've seen that parabolic run-up for Brian Kelly, and explain why they've had that type of success year 3.
Year 3 is a level of accountability in every program that I have taken over that is heightened. There's a trust factor and an accountability level within our process that kind of, I would say, pops, if you will. And that's this year. So this will be the most accountable football team that we've had at LSU. This will be a team that trusts each other at its highest level. And that has historically led to on-field success.
It was interesting to also hear Brian Kelly talk about the 3 players he brought today. One of the best sound bites we heard was about Garrett Nussmeier, where he compared Garrett Nussmeier, and I will play this audio for you a bit later in the show, but he compared Garrett Nussmeier almost to to a car. Whereas in the past, Garrett, it was like the program was a used car or a rental car, where you might ding it or leave some trash in it, but when you own the car, you're going to take more care of it. And he said that's basically Garrett now. Mason Taylor, he said, is one of the best football players on this team that has just been overshadowed in an offense that has tremendous amount of star power, and he wanted Mason Taylor to be here so that the rest of the college football world and the conference can know how good he is, where everyone knows how good Will Campbell is already. And then Harold Perkins, Brian Kelly gushed over. 3.6 GPA, one of their best student athletes, and wanted to have Harold Perkins have this opportunity. So that's why they chose to bring the players that they did. And as I mentioned, you will hear from each of those 3 on the show today, as I had a chance earlier to sit down with each of Nussmeier, Harold Perkins, and Mason Taylor. But I did have a chance to spend about 5 minutes one-on-one with Brian Kelly. And this was after his media scrum, where they covered all the big stuff, right? The how is the defense going to improve, the new assistants, all that sort of stuff. And I wanted to get nitty-gritty on a few things with Brian Kelly, and I started by asking him for an update on Zy Alexander, LSU's cornerback, who, of course, tore his ACL a year ago in the Army game.
To say, when you get 90 degrees flexion after the ACL, you're ready to go. So he'll begin lateral movement here probably Monday of next week. So we think we'll have him ready for camp.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So he gives us more depth at that position and give him a chance to go compete for a starting position.
How'd you feel about the corners coming out of spring?
You know, it was a mixed bag. We were trying to do some things that were a little bit different. I think we were, not in a mode of who's the starter, who's the backup, who's the third string. I think it was really we were just trying to get a sense and feel for the group. And at the same time, looking at the safeties and what the best fits were there. I don't think that we got focused on who was a starter, who was number 2. I think we'll be a lot more, focused on that when we get into camp. I think we felt like they needed a little bit more time in the weight room before we got into, all right, let's see if we can roll this guy out. We felt like we had some guys that needed more time in the weight room, Stamps, PJ. I think those guys needed to get physically stronger. We felt like we needed to get some weight off of Toviano. We still hadn't made a decision with Sage. So I think it was a little bit more in flux. Get Zai back, see where we are there, and get a good evaluation of Jawan Johnson.
Is Sage going to play safety?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're not
sure yet.
We're not sure yet. We want to see the development of the young safeties with, obviously, Allen, Gilbert, Burns. We've got some veterans and some young guys, and I think that I know this is a long answer to your question, but there's 18 scholarship players back there, man. And so I told them, don't rush into tiering this in the spring. Let's be patient and let this thing develop through the off season, and then we get into camp, we can start to make some decisions, and that's kind of what we're going to do.
I do radio. You can be as long-winded as you want to be.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to give you the real sense of
please.
18 scholarship players. To start saying you're number one, number two, half those guys are going to transfer.
Right.
So let's be patient with it and figure it out.
No, context is good. What about Trey Holly? An update on Trey's situation? I think the last I saw, there was a judge recused himself and pushed it back.
So that was J.R. Belton's dad.
Okay.
He was the judge in that county.
Okay.
He had to recuse himself because of the familiarity. Because of that, they had to move the case back to next week. It gets adjudicated next week. It should be over with next week. We're hoping that finally ends this saga and allows him to move towards the next step.
And obviously that's a way more serious thing than football, but is there when you don't play for a year, as long as this has been for him, does he stay in football shape? Have y'all been in contact? What is?
Oh yeah. I mean, he's been allowed to go to class, so he's been able to work out. He hasn't been working out with the team, but he's in a regimented workout program that has been monitored. We monitor his academics, so we're able to do those things, and so there's been oversight. So it's not he's off by himself. He's here in Baton Rouge, so there's been a lot of oversight there. I think when hopefully this gets taken care of, that he'll be able to come in and work his way back.
How was your summer? Just some fun stuff.
Good. Family, we went to the islands, the British Virgin Islands. First time we've been able to get the whole family together, so it was fun. We were able to, I think for the first time in maybe 15 years, actually do something together as a family, so it was nice.
Why 15 years? How does it take that long?
Because you got kids in school, working out, you've got internships, you've got people doing different things. It was this 1 week, and I'll tell you what the real reason is: the calendar. We had that last week in June off this year because it went dead the week before, so I was able to squeeze out the middle, that last week in June, where it didn't interfere with July 4th. Because everybody July 4th's got their own thing going.
Yeah.
Because I got 20-year-old kids, they got their own thing
Right.
going. So it worked out pretty good.
Cool. How much golf did you play?
Not much.
Okay.
Not much golf.
Best course you played?
Best course I played was in Scotland. We played, they changed the name of it. It's where they played last year's Scottish Open. So I played a couple of courses in Scotland. I played well enough that I can say that's my golf for the summer.
Thanks.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Our visit with Brian Kelly earlier today here just off of Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.